Good morning. So this is the 14th. In other words, Inspiration 4 is taking off tomorrow. But topic for today is not Inspiration 4. It is actually a Starlink launch. So 10 minutes back, 15 minutes back, the first successful launch in a while, first launch of Starlink satellites in quite some time, a few months to be quite frank, took place. As per usual, this was a SpaceX launch. It launched from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. It was a successful stage separation. The booster returned to Earth successfully and landed on the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, in the Pacific Ocean. And the reason for there being such a long delay from the previous Starlink launches to this one, is that they did some upgrades to the Starlink satellites. There should be close to 2,000 satellites by now, and the upgrade involved a laser system which enables these satellites to communicate with each other, not just with stations on Earth. So in other words, now these satellites communicate with each other. And it was only 51 satellites. Usually they launch a few more, I think like 60. I don't know why they launched only 51 on this particular launch. Quite curious actually. Yeah, so successful launch once more, and this is the second booster that actually completed 10 successful landings. So 10 times that this particular booster went to space. If I am lucky enough to be able to get the footage, it should be showing in the background right about now. I'm going to try to get that footage so you can see the launch as it took place 15 minutes back. But yeah, keep in mind that the Inspiration 4 mission is taking place tomorrow. I'm not sure of the exact time yet, and that might change due to weather or any unforeseen circumstances. But this particular mission was quite important because I suspect if there was any issues with this launch, they probably would have halted or paused the launch of the Inspiration 4, a mission which is supposed to launch tomorrow, because they're using Falcon rockets for both these launches, obviously. And apparently there's a Falcon Heavy launch taking place in the near future as well, in about a month or two if I'm not mistaken. And now Falcon Heavy is also a SpaceX rocket that uses, the Falcon rocket uses 9 Merlin engines, 1D engines, on its booster. The Falcon Heavy has 3 separate boosters, and each of them's got 9 Merlin 1D engines. So you can imagine the power of that specific rocket, the Falcon Heavy rocket. But the Falcon Heavy rocket, the thing that's nice about the Falcon Heavy rocket, you literally see 3 boosters coming in to land at once, which is quite a sight to see, all these boosters coming in to land. And the advantage of using a Falcon Heavy rocket is that you've got much increased payload capacity. So you can send a much heavier object or much more supplies into space in one go. And the only problem with this is the Falcon Heavy's fairing size is the same as the Falcon rocket. So you might be able to send more in terms of weight, but not necessarily in terms of volume, because the fairing is only so big. So your weight increases, but your volume is still the same. There is other rockets that have an advantage over the SpaceX rockets in this regard. I think one of them is a Centaur rocket. I'm not sure, I can't remember what specific rocket this is. So that was just a quick update in terms of what's going on with SpaceX. It's kind of funny to think, yeah, I know this is all internet satellites, or that's what they say. All of the Starlink satellites is internet satellites, but if you think about it, pretty soon, if not already, the whole world will be covered. And if you were to, for example, have, just a side thought, if you were to have cameras on all these satellites as well, you could have like a global surveillance system that could spot and check literally every inch of the earth. But these are communication satellites, so don't think you need to worry about that, hopefully. But in any case, so Starlink is growing at quite a pace, and these 51 satellites that they launched are the first ones that's got the capability to communicate directly with each other through laser technology. Hence the delay from the previous Starlink launches to this one. In terms of Starbase, I'm not sure what the updates are currently, but last time I saw the quick disconnect arm was connected a while back already. They even started getting parts for booster number 6, and booster number 4 hasn't even flown yet. But it's going to take some time to get the approvals and the go-ahead for the launches, or the launch of Starship and booster number 4. So I think in the meantime they are continuing with other things, because it would be nice to know that your backup rocket or booster is going to be ready soon. So if something goes wrong with the first orbital launch attempt, you know your second rocket's good to go. And in terms of rocketry and design thereof, you need to be prepared for failure, because it happens quite often, and if you embrace it, you learn quite a bit and advance at a greater speed. So I'm not gonna talk too much, just a quick update and to let you know that yet another Starlink mission was flown successfully. Same type of rocket that will be used to do the Inspiration 4 mission tomorrow. I'll try to cover that one live. I need to check the times of when it's going to take off. But it's a second stage rocket, the same exact type of rocket, a Falcon rocket, two-stage rocket, most reliable rocket currently in existence. Now, but do yourself a favor, check out Inspiration 4 on Netflix. There's 2 more episodes that became available yesterday. I'm probably going to check them today, or watch them today. And do yourself another favor and check out my first video on Inspiration 4, where I introduced the crew to you for civilians that's going to space. First ever mission where only civilians go onto a space flight. All automated, of course, but these particular civilians have some of them's got some flight experience, and they represent 4 words. Now I've got to think carefully. Jared is leadership, CEO of a big multi-million or billion-dollar company. So he represents leadership. He's got many flight hours in experience. He's even flown a couple of jets. Hayley represents hope. She's a former patient at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. They had a $200 million fundraising exercise. I would actually like to know how much they ended up raising. But in any case, she's a cancer survivor. She had bone cancer as a child, and she survived it. And she's actually working at St. Jude's with children with cancer. So that's quite an inspirational story in its own. And then you've got Saham. I'm hoping I pronounced her name correctly. She grew up in Guam. Her father worked at a NASA station. He was part of the people, or one of the people that assisted in relaying signals for the Apollo missions in the 60s and 70s. So she had the inspiration since she was a child to go to space. And then you've got Christopher. Now, Christopher is a data engineer or analyst at Lockheed Martin. He was part of the lottery for the fundraising exercise. And then he's a military vet. He was actually in the US Air Force at some stage as well. So a lot of these people are excited but also nervous. Stuff can go wrong on launches, and they're off to a big adventure tomorrow when they're going to take off. They're going to orbit the Earth a number of times. They're going to stay in space for about 3 days before they re-enter. So do yourself a favor and check out that video, and check out the Netflix episodes, the new Netflix episodes on Inspiration 4. So hold your thumbs, and let's hope this Inspiration 4 mission is a success. Like I said, first time ever that only civilians will board a vessel heading to orbit. Actually, one other thing as well that I saw yesterday, apparently it's not only the Russians that's working on nuclear rocket technology. The US is apparently working on it as well. Like I said, it would be a great advantage for them to have nuclear capable rocket engines. This would increase the speed at which you travel, or the travel time will be much less. The payload capacity would be greater. Only thing with nuclear rocket engines, they will be powered by plutonium, as far as I know, but not uranium, plutonium. The thing is with them, you cannot ignite these engines while you're still in the atmosphere. So you'll basically have at least a 2-stage rocket, and the first engines will be conventional chemical rockets, and once you're in orbit and safely away from the Earth, the nuclear engines will ignite. For obvious reasons, you don't want a nuclear capable rocket exploding and spilling its contents over populated areas, or anywhere on Earth for that matter. So that's just a short of it, how it's supposed to work, but it's quite a few years off. And that type of rocket engine would be ideal for long term use in space, in terms of getting to Mars and beyond, or even the Moon. You could potentially cut a trip to the Moon that's usually about 3 days with a conventional chemical rocket to 1 day. A 6-month trip to Mars you could potentially cut to 3 months. So that will save a lot of money and increase your travel time and your payload capacity and all those things. Like I said, still many things to solve before we get to Mars. Gravity being one of them, radiation being one of them, and then a multitude of other things as well. But yeah, I think that's it for today from me. Remember to watch the Inspiration launch. I'll attempt to cover it live. And please do me a favor by smashing the like button and the subscribe button. And then I'll see you again. Thanks for watching.